I never imagined I'd find myself in this place, surrounded by sterile walls and machines. The physical pain is something I never wanted to experience, but the emotional weight is even heavier. In these quiet moments, I've learned more about my own resilience than I ever knew was possible. The hospital has been a strange place for me, a combination of fear, uncertainty, and sometimes hope. I've felt the vulnerability of my body, the fragility of life, and yet, in the stillness, there's a clarity that I hadn't noticed before. It's not just about recovery, it's about transformation. As I sit here in this hospital bed, I'm confronted by all the things I've taken for granted. I'm learning to appreciate every small, peaceful moment and finding strength in the struggle. It's a reminder that healing isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual too. Being in the hospital has been an awakening of sorts. Every beeping machine, every step of discomfort has reminded me how fragile life is. But through it all, I've discovered a resilience in myself I didn't know existed. The pain is exhausting, both physical and emotional, but it's also teaching me the importance of slowing down, of listening to my body, and of being gentle with myself. In this hospital room, I'm learning to care for myself in ways I never did before. There are days when the silence of the hospital feels like a weight, a reminder of everything I can't control. But there are also moments of clarity where I feel grateful for the ability to heal, to rest, and to focus on what truly matters. Being in the hospital has made me realize how fragile we all are. We take our health for granted until we're faced with a reality where every breath, every movement feels like a gift. I'm learning to appreciate the smallest things in a way I never did before. The hospital room is a strange space where time seems to stand still and every hour feels like a lifetime. But in the stillness, I've found peace. I've realized that the journey to recovery isn't just about healing the body, it's about healing the mind, too. I never expected to be here, in this place where my body feels broken and vulnerable, but in the midst of the pain, I've found moments of clarity. It's as though my spirit is learning to heal alongside my body, and in that, there's a certain kind of strength. In the quiet moments of this hospital stay, I've had time to reflect on my life in ways I never thought possible. The pain is real, but the lessons I'm learning about myself, about strength, patience, and the value of rest, are even more profound. I've always been the type to push through discomfort, to ignore my body's signals. But now, in the hospital, I'm forced to face my limitations. It's humbling, but it's also teaching me to honor my body in ways I never have before. Hospital walls are so much more than just the physical barriers that surround us. They become mirrors of our internal struggles, our fears, and our hopes. In these walls, I've faced some of my darkest thoughts, but I've also uncovered a light I didn't know was there. As the days blur together in this hospital room, I've realized that healing isn't a straight line. Some days are better than others, and that's okay. What matters is that I'm taking it one moment at a time, finding strength in each step, no matter how small. There's an odd kind of peace in the stillness of the hospital room. It's a time to reflect, to process emotions that have long been buried. And though it's painful, there's a strange comfort in knowing that even in our hardest moments, we can grow. Being confined to this hospital bed has given me a new perspective on life. What once seemed important now feels insignificant, and the things I once overlooked, like the warmth of the sun or a kind word, now hold a deeper meaning. The pain is undeniable, but so is the healing. Each day in the hospital is a reminder that recovery is a process. Some days it feels like I'm taking 2 steps forward, and others it feels like 1 step back. But every step counts. I never realized how much we rely on the simple act of movement until I couldn't do it. Being in the hospital has made me more aware of how precious our bodies are and how much we take for granted. Now, every small accomplishment feels like a victory. The hospital is a place of contradictions, both frightening and safe, overwhelming and comforting. It's where we go when we're at our most vulnerable, but it's also where we go to heal. And in that contradiction, I found a quiet strength I never knew I had. There's something humbling about being in the hospital. It's a place where you're reminded of how little control we have over our bodies. But it's also a place where you learn how to surrender, to trust in the process, and to believe that healing will come even when it feels uncertain.